The reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard. And he talked about it in the court case. You know, he's talking about cocaine. Like that was the whole thing, that we're all doing cocaine.
And saying is this: when you knock a champion who's been that dominant and that good for 10 years out in 14 seconds,
13.
there is a question, which is, was that in some ways
Joe Rogan, the UFC icon, just tore apart the idea of a Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor showdown, highlighting the reality that many seem to ignore. Rogan has never been a fan of the whole YouTuber-turned-boxer craze, and Jake Paul especially acts like he can take on McGregor, a fighter who's been struggling to find his footing ever since his clash with Mayweather.
It's him now. He's super jacked.
He looks like a bodybuilder.
See, that's what he looks like now. He's still jacked. Still looks great. He looks good, though.
Whoa. He looks so old now. He looks
It's the most important fight of your career. Give us your thoughts on this rematch. He should have killed me when he had the chance, because now I'm back and I'm going to kill you and your whole team. You and them kids. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants. It's what I dreamed into reality.
Rogan wants to make it crystal clear that Jake Paul isn't the unstoppable force he thinks he is. Sure, Jake has millions of followers and an ego to match, but does that really mean he stands a legitimate chance at knocking out someone like McGregor?
Don't aspire to be, you know, one of these like YouTuber fighters.
Right.
Aspire for world title.
So let's dig into Rogan's fiery take on the Paul versus McGregor spectacle, because this is going to be one wild ride.
And that is that a lot of fighters, when they've sustained a significant amount of damage.
This wasn't about breaking down fight styles or predicting a winner, it was Joe Rogan's opportunity to cut loose and have fun with the chaos. First off, Jake Paul, the YouTuber-turned-boxer, is clearly enjoying himself while trolling the entire combat sports world, and Rogan didn't hesitate to share his unfiltered thoughts. He flat out called Jake a master troll. But credit where it's due, Jake's marketing game is on another level. He's like the ringleader of a circus, pulling everyone's attention, even if it's just to watch the drama unfold. When it comes to Jake's boxing record, Rogan doesn't sugarcoat it. He acknowledges that Jake has scored knockouts over some notable names, though most were far past their prime, fighters like Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, and Anderson Silva. Rogan says if Jake weren't a YouTuber, people might actually take his boxing career more seriously. Still, Rogan admits Jake's power is legitimate, even if his opposition hasn't exactly been elite.
Now I think people are coming around. I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fight. He knows how to fight. It's nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well.
Then we have Conor McGregor, the former UFC golden boy who's been on a downward spiral for years. Always blunt, Rogan didn't hold back about McGregor's fall from glory. According to Rogan, McGregor's downfall wasn't about losing skill, it was about his own self-destructive tendencies. All the fame and wealth hit McGregor like a tidal wave. At his peak, he was untouchable, constantly boasting and trash-talking his way into the spotlight. But somewhere along the line, the fame went straight to his head. The endless parties, the excess, it all caught up with him. Sure, McGregor is still in incredible physical shape, but that can't mask the wreckage of his personal life. Legal problems, failed business moves, and a damaged reputation have turned his once legendary image into a cautionary tale. It's been nothing short of a train wreck.
Looks good, and if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, like highly promotable, like really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the
Rogan doesn't pull punches when it comes to McGregor. This was supposed to be the greatest, the man destined to rule the sport. And for a time, he did. Knocking out Jose Aldo in just 13 seconds, becoming the first fighter to hold 2 UFC titles simultaneously, McGregor had the entire combat world at his feet. But, as Rogan points out, the story didn't end there. McGregor hit his peak and then started to unravel. From attacking buses to bizarre run-ins with fighters and turning himself into a sideshow both inside and outside the cage, his downfall has been chaotic. Sure, it's been entertaining, but undeniably tragic at the same time.
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
What's happening with his the civil suit? He's being dropped by all his companies or something.
Yeah, I don't know the real details of that case, but the reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard.
Take the infamous bus attack, yes, the one where McGregor hurled a metal dolly at a bus packed with UFC fighters. Rogan's take? It was pure chaotic McGregor, and honestly, no one should have been shocked. That stunt landed McGregor in serious legal trouble, which, let's be honest, doesn't exactly scream world champion material. But Rogan doesn't just stop at calling out McGregor's antics, he digs deeper, criticizing his lack of discipline and his notorious partying lifestyle. There's been endless talk about late nights, alleged cocaine use, and a life steeped in excess. Sure, McGregor says he wants to come back, but with all his personal and legal problems piling up, it's hard to take him seriously. Right now, he seems to be heading in every direction except the fighting one.
Dylan Dennis is a professional fighter. He's a professional fighter. He jumps out, he takes a swing at him. They're screaming, and Dylan's like, "F you," and he's like, "F you," and there's a bunch of people get involved, and then a bunch of other people jump in. The whole thing was nuts. But the idea that we should be shocked after him throwing a dolly at a bus because Khabib's on the bus, those Russians don't fucking play like that, man.
And then there's the long list of McGregor's legal troubles. From losing major sponsorships to being hit with a civil lawsuit, his career has been a whirlwind of chaos. A woman in Dublin even accused him of assault, which, needless to say, was not the PR boost he needed. Rogan doesn't gloss over this, he gives it the weight it deserves. McGregor's life is a complete disaster, and it's tarnishing his legacy. Sure, he can keep posting cryptic workout videos on Instagram, but let's face it, he's not the same man he once was. The fire, the passion, the charisma that made him a superstar? All but gone.
Who accused the mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor of raping her in a hotel in Dublin 6 years ago, has won a civil case against him. The jury has found McGregor liable and ordered him to pay Nikita Hand €250,000 in damages.
And then there's all this talk about McGregor's comeback. Sure, he keeps teasing it, but how seriously can anyone take it when everything he touches seems to implode? After that horrific leg injury in 2021, fans were left wondering if the old McGregor would ever return. The truth? McGregor isn't just trying to heal physically, he's drowning in problems outside the cage. With so much chaos surrounding him, no one knows what his future holds. Rogan, however, doesn't seem optimistic. Between the endless drama and McGregor focusing more on partying than training, a return to form seems like a long shot.
UFC fighter Conor McGregor has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman after an NBA basketball game in Miami earlier this month. A legal letter outlining the allegations was sent to Mr. McGregor and seen by BBC News. It says the alleged assault took place in a bathroom at an arena in Miami. The woman's lawyer said she'd been watching Game 4 of the finals on Friday the 9th of June before the alleged incident happened. She alleged the woman was forced into a men's bathroom by security guards from the NBA and Miami Heat before being violently assaulted by Mr. McGregor.
But hold on. Rogan, ever the realist, points out that Jake Paul isn't just some washed-up social media star trying to punch above his weight. Yes, he started on YouTube, but Rogan doesn't dismiss him. In fact, after watching Jake's fight with Tyron Woodley, Rogan called him legit. No more jokes about Jake not being a real fighter. Joe openly admitted Paul has genuine knockout power if you're not careful. While Rogan acknowledges Jake's fight IQ isn't at the level of elite UFC fighters, he reminds everyone that Jake is competing in a legitimate sport. The guy has been sparring with real pros and working with big names like Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia. Jake Paul isn't just playing around, he's putting in the work and proving he's more than hype.
Good match for Conor. Is that ever happening? Or
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
what's happening with his he just got like the civil suit or whatever, and he's being dropped by all his companies or something.
Don't get Joe wrong, he still respects McGregor's striking ability. After all, McGregor built his career on precision and devastating power. But it's more complicated than that. Since the Mayweather bout, McGregor's life has been all about excess. It's not just the fame and fortune, but the toll it's taken on him. McGregor's been through more than most realize, both inside and outside the octagon. Sure, he lived the high life, but not in a way that helped his career. Partying, injuries, the leg break, public meltdowns, it's all added up, leaving a fighter who's no longer in his prime. Rogan believes a huge part of McGregor's downfall came from being unable to resist the temptations that came with his success. In Rogan's eyes, McGregor's self-destruction wasn't just about age, it was about having too much money, too much fame, and not enough discipline to stay focused.
As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing.
And this is where Jake Paul's growing legitimacy enters the picture. Say what you want about his antics or cringeworthy online persona, but when it comes to boxing, he's no pushover. Rogan points out that Jake's career has shifted to a more professional path. He's taking real fights, training seriously, and that's elevating his status. While Jake may have started out as a celebrity boxer, he's evolving into someone who genuinely knows how to fight, and the world is beginning to recognize it. But here's the dilemma McGregor faces: he's been out of the game too long. Joe is blunt about it. Despite McGregor's immense talent in the past, his years of bad choices, injuries, and distractions don't make him an ideal candidate for a comeback. The moment he stepped away, McGregor began slipping out of his prime. Sure, he might still have enough skill to be dangerous, but how much of that killer instinct is really left after all the fame and fortune? That's the question Rogan keeps circling back to.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you up.
So what's the bottom line? Could Jake Paul actually beat McGregor in a boxing ring? According to Joe Rogan, it's not impossible. McGregor has endured too many wars, too many injuries, and too many distractions. Meanwhile, Jake has been putting in the work, sharpening his skills and building his mental game. McGregor might still be a dangerous opponent on his best day, but how many of those best days are left? Rogan doesn't give a final verdict, but his message is clear: Jake Paul is no longer the joke people think he is, and McGregor's prime might already be in the rearview mirror. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this fight breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Fightcore for more powerful boxing updates. Stay tuned for the next round.